Hello, welcome back to the channel, and January is behind us, which means we are now into February and it's time to look forward to those brighter, longer days where I can generate more solar power and reduce my monthly energy bills. So it's time to look back at my solar generation in January, how much it saved me, how much I made through SEG payments, and how much I also had to import in electricity terms from British Gas. So I have got a few things that will be changing over the next couple of months, including my tariff, so let's just go over some of the things I've been thinking about with that first before going into the video proper. So as you know, I have 12 Q-cell solar panels on my roof. They total 4.68 kilowatts. That goes down into a solid 5 kilowatt hybrid inverter, and I have a 5 kilowatt hour pure drive battery. And currently I'm with British Gas, and I fixed with them before the energy crisis on a 2.5-year deal, which comes to the end at the end of February. So at the moment I'm paying just over 19p per kilowatt hour for import of electricity, about 23p per day for a standing charge. As I say, for the rest of the video I will not be I don't include the standing charge. I also have gas with British Gas because our main heating, or our central heating, is with gas, and also our hob is gas powered. And the rates for that is about 4p per kilowatt hour and about 17p per day for standing charge. I've also now changed my SEG to British Gas, so I've moved from So Energy, which we're paying 5p per kilowatt hour, to British Gas, which are paying 15p per kilowatt hour. But at the end of February I'm going to be looking to either renew my deal or get a new supplier. And this is what I've been contemplating, so I might do a whole new video about this, but what I'm basically drawn to is Octopus, and ideally I would quite like their Go tariff. I do have an electric car, but I don't have a charge point because I can't charge at my home because of having on-road parking. And as you know from my previous videos, Swansea Council are very uncooperative. If you've seen a video called a channel called Dave Takes It On, well worth watching. One of his videos is released about charging at home if you don't have a driveway, because he talks about the idea of gully systems in that, but also how some councils are flat out refusing to engage with it or flat out banning them without any actual reason or evidence, other than being slightly cynical that they might be trying to build a charging hub which they can make a lot of money out of. So I'm wondering if Swansea is the same. Anyway, so ideally I would like to move on to sort of a time of day tariff like Octopus Go or British Gas do the equivalent, which charges about 8p for importing for a few hours during the night, which means I could charge my battery then and then use it through the day. My question to you guys is, what evidence do you need to supply to go on to that tariff? Do you just need to show evidence you own an electric car? Do you need to show evidence that you own a smart charger, or do you need to show evidence that the smart charger has been installed? Because I might be able just to buy a cheap smart charger off the internet and show I have it, even though it's not fitted. So yeah, if anybody can help with that question, please comment below. As I say, my SEG payments have also now gone up as well, which has already actually had an effect even in January. In other news, I've moved on to a new job at Swansea University, so I was a part-time research fellow there, so I was consulting with a company trying to make gold nanoparticles. I've now moved on to a job of an industrial lecturer, where I'm actually giving lectures on energy, solar panels, energy storage, and all this sort of stuff, so I might be incorporating some of the stuff from that lectures into this channel. The level I'm teaching at the university is master's level, so I'll take the concepts and give it to in a form more suitable for a wider audience. So that might be coming up over the next few months as well. Anyway, that's enough waffling, let's get on to the figures from January. So in January we generated in total 195.2 kilowatt hours. And as you can see from this graph, our best days around the 20th, we were generating about 16 kilowatt hours. Worst days, we were down at about 0.2 of a kilowatt hour. And you can see it's been a bit of a hit and miss month again, but that's what you expect from January. So out of that 195 kilowatt hours, how did we use that? So that's what this graph shows. So the yellow is battery discharge. So this is energy that we've stored in the battery and then discharged when we needed it. So this is, I don't charge the battery from the grid. It all comes from the roof, unless the battery's state of charge drops to a certain level, and then it just needs to top itself up a little bit just to make itself safe and not damage the battery chemistry. But I don't think that's happened in January, and if it has, it's only 1 or 2 kilowatt hours. The green is self-use, so this is energy being generated on the roof and being used in the house in real time. The blue is export and the red is import. So you can see at the beginning of the month there was a few days where we had to heavily rely on imported electricity, and then there was days where we exported quite a lot, and then varies throughout the rest of the month. So in total, in January, we used a total of 217 kilowatt hours. So where I get these numbers from is the Solace app, but also compared to my smart meter and my export meter, and they all roughly tally within a few percent, which is probably due to the fact that you use CT cables for Solace, which aren't 100% accurate. So out of that 217 kilowatt hours, 141.2 of them was generated ourselves, and therefore we had to import 76.15 from the grid. That means that we were 35% reliant on the grid, or 65% self-sufficient. How does that look in terms of money? Well, let's start off with how much we had to pay for that 76.15 kilowatt hours. We paid £14.91. The money we saved, so if we were having to import that 141 kilowatt hours from British Gas, it would have cost us £27.65. So that's what we've effectively saved. And then we sent about 54 kilowatt hours back to the grid, of which we're getting paid 15p, and that is £8.69. So it means that our total saving and made, so our payback on our solar panels for January 2024 was £36.34. So whether that's good or bad, it depends on your situation. For us, that's reasonably good. I don't think it could be much better. But what we can also now do is compare it to previous years. So in January last year, we had a little bit more solar generation. We generated 213 kilowatt hours last year, which is about 10% more than this year. However, the money we spent on import was surprisingly similar. Last year we paid £14.65. This year we paid about 25p more at £14.91. So very similar figures there. The money we made, or money we saved, last year we saved £27.72. This year has been a little bit less, or 7p less, at £27.65. So within realms of error, that's probably the same. What has made a difference is that export tariff, because last year we only made £3.67 from export, even though we exported slightly more. But because of our increased rate, basically our rate is 3 times higher, this year we made £8.69p. So moving to that new SEG tariff is already paying dividends. So if you just wanted to see this in graph form, we do have these graphs that show you the year generation. So you can see that my January generation, which is the pale blue, is slightly less than last year, and we also have this which is in terms of money. So you can see that the pale blue on this year is higher than the orange from the previous year. And the dark blue is from 2022, where we only had the solar panels installed in late August. So as this year goes on, I'll continue to make these videos. I'm going to have to think of a new way of analysing them if we do move on to a tariff which we import during the night world, how we calculate all that sort of stuff. But that'll be a challenge to come. Anyway, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you want to comment your own solar generation for January and usage, please comment those below. I was always interested to read and also see people's discussion going on about that. And also, if you do have any advice about tariffs and what evidence you need to show if you do want to go on to one of these EV charge time of day tariffs, please comment those below as well. Anyway, I'll see you in another video very soon.